Hey, this is Mariela from the Functional Company. All right, to juice or not to juice? That is the question. Juicing is such a huge fad nowadays, and I have a little bit of information to share with you so you can make a better decision for yourself in terms of health. So a lot of people, obviously, if they're juicing, it's because they think that it's good for their body, right? And is it healthy? I think there's pros and cons to it, and I would say there's more cons than pros. There's probably a better way to do it than the way most people do it. So not all juicing is created equally, right? And so we want to really kind of take a little bit of a look here, zoom in and to see what's happening. So with juicing, the main factor here that I would consider to be, to pay particular attention to, because there's probably a lot of different things that we can kind of get into. But in the most simplistic way, it's this. What we're doing with juicing is we're taking out the fiber from the food, from whatever it is that you're juicing. And now you have just the sugar content of that. Does it have nutrients? Yes. But it has nutrients with too much sugar and not enough fiber. Remember that fiber, one of the things that it does is that it helps to slow the absorption of sugar into the blood. When you take out the fiber, it's just a huge spike in blood sugar, right? It demands a lot of insulin. It's a process that creates more cravings. If you've ever had a juice that has like carrots and beets and orange and apple, and you drink that, notice what happens 1 to 2 hours after you've had the juice. Are you craving? Are you hungry? Or do you feel stable? Do you have anxiety? It's kind of like, look at the symptoms. The symptoms are going to tell you whether or not what you're doing is actually good for your body. Usually, if the juice has too much sugar, you'll have this yo-yo effect where you actually will be hungry within 1 to 2 hours. Some people get palpitations, anxiety, lack of mental focus, more cravings. It's an unstable state. So it's not worth it. It's better just to eat the entire food. Or you could do it in a smoothie way where you don't take out the fiber, right? So this is the main thing to look at, how it's affecting our blood sugar. Again, if you haven't checked out that video where I explain how blood sugar works, it's one of my first episodes, so you can actually check that out in the podcast form, Flip Your Mindset About Health, or on YouTube. We have a channel called Functional Co, which you should definitely subscribe to. And so I encourage you to watch that, but it's very important to understand that juicing can be have a negative effect in terms of our blood sugar, which then affects our hormones, affects our energy, our mental state, our focus, our cravings, etc. Right? So that's the thing that we want to avoid the most. We want to keep the fiber and select things that actually have a lower amount of sugar. So for example, one thing where I've seen a lot of benefits in terms of juicing is with celery juice. Celery juice, you do take out the fibers. So of course, if you have just the celery stalk, that's great. But with celery juice, it's an actually very interesting thing because it actually stabilizes a lot of people and it helps cleanse out their entire digestive tract. So there's a lot more benefits, and it doesn't have that spike, that blood sugar spike, because celery itself is not going to be high in sugar, right? So there are exceptions, and you could probably find green juices, certain kinds of green juices that are very low in sugar. They're going to be much better for the body. But again, if you have it in a whole food form, that's even better. But some green juices, you'll see it says green juice, but you look at the back, it has like 30 to 50 grams of sugar because it has green juice. They put spinach and kale and this stuff, but then they also put apple juice and pineapple juice and things with tons of sugar, so it tastes really sweet and delicious. You think you're doing something healthy because it's green, and just the green, we all think it just because it says green, it's healthy. We always have to flip and look at the label and find out what are the ingredients. If there's high sugar ingredients in there, we know it's going to do more damage than good. It's better just to have the green without the sugar, have it in whole food form, or if you're going to juice it, keep it very low sugar. So that you can actually get the benefits of the nutrients, okay? So that's the main thing I want to say about juicing and why I think it tends to have a lot more harmful effects than good ones. And if you are going to juice, then at least you know what to look for. You really want to avoid high sugar fruits, high sugar vegetables. You want to really avoid consuming too much of that without the fiber, because like I said, the fiber is slowing down the absorption of sugar, and that's going to create, if you take that out, it's going to create a huge blood sugar spike. It's going to have a lot more negative effects on the hormones, mental focus, energy, and cravings overall. That's the main thing to look at. like I said, we could probably talk about juicing a lot more. If you have more questions about juicing, I'd love to know what you want to know. But if keeping it very simple, that's the main reason why I don't recommend juicing. And if you are going to juice, then it would be either celery juice or some kind of a green juice with it has very low sugar, because we really want to avoid these huge spikes in insulin and blood sugar. Okay, so thanks so much for tuning in, and hopefully that was helpful for you, and I will see you on the flip side. Hey, if you're liking the information on this channel, don't forget to subscribe, click the button, and share this with your friends and family. We've got lots more information coming. Thanks so much for being here.